Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and for the last week I've been driving the 2026 Infiniti QX60 Autograph. Up front is a 2.0 liter turbocharged inline-4, and down below is a 9-speed automatic transmission. Now I'm super excited to be making this video here today because I've not only spent the last week driving the QX60, but I actually took it from Chicago to Detroit, so I've done over 500 miles in it, and I think on paper it's a little bit of a head scratcher, but I'm excited to tell you why it actually makes a bit more sense when you actually get behind the wheel. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2-liter turbo under the hood. Well, it makes about 278 horsepower. That's where the problems start. And honestly, not to bury the lead, but it's really my only problem with the car is the engine. Because it is a 2-liter turbo with variable compression. So variable compression basically means that the engine is able to change its compression ratio on the fly. This technology is undoubtedly incredibly cool, and the engineers are brilliant for their ability to design it. I don't trust that it's going to last a very long time. Now, it is a cool way to make pretty good power out of a 2-liter turbo. And again, the idea of it is genius, but in practicality, it's not wonderful. On the highway, honestly, it does have enough power. For daily driving, it feels good enough. The only time the engine really stumbles is from a dead stop flooring it. I think the engine doesn't really know what kind of compression it wants to give you, how much boost to give you. It just seems confused for the first couple of seconds. But again, that's if you're flooring it from a stoplight, which in a QX60, you're not really doing all the time. Like I said, paired to it is a 9-speed automatic. Absolutely love seeing the 9-speed. It is not a CVT. It works well, and I'm happy about it. Last but not least, the QX60 is, of course, all-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the QX60? Well, if you're not trying to rip it like Dominic Toretto away from a stoplight, it's actually quite great. Drives nice, handles well, it's comfortable, it's smooth, it's quiet. I like it quite a bit, and I wasn't expecting to. I was expecting this 2-liter variable compression turbo to be such a lug and just be awful, but besides that drag strip speed, it's actually pretty good, and it handles itself well. And I've been averaging about 25 miles to the gallon, which isn't stellar numbers, but not also terrible for a 3-row SUV. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. If you're familiar with other Nissan or Infiniti products, you'll feel right at home with this. You could swipe through a couple different screens, some good information and things like that, but overall, it's a pretty comprehensive setup, and I like it quite a bit. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our volume, skip track, and selectors for that gauge cluster screen, and off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise. This does come with a 3-year trial of ProPilot Assist 2.1, which is their hands-free cruise control. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, as well as our steering assist, head-up display information, and tailgate release. And moving on to the door, we have 2 levels of memory seats, latching it in and out, power locks, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do get our infotainment display. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Pretty good sound system as well. This is a Klipsch sound system that you'll also find in the QX80 and Armada, and I like it. It's worked well. Here's the backup camera. I wish the backup camera was a little bit clearer, but it did the job at the end of the day. Down below the infotainment display, we have 2 more climate control vents, and our climate controls, this is kind of a mix of touch and physical. They're haptic buttons. I honestly don't mind them. They haven't been laggy. They've kept up pretty well. We have heated and ventilated seats, a heated steering wheel, and of course controls for our rear climate, which has all been very handy. Down below that, into the center console, we have our start-stop button button off to the left with our shifter and automatic start-stop, as well as our drive mode button, power parking brake and auto holding brake, as well as our selector for that center screen for menu, audio, map, camera, and go back. We have a wireless charger off to the right with 2 USB-Cs and our cup holders. So we'll do a big freaking bottle test, and I say that it fails. It goes in a little bit, but it is sort of bowing the plastic, and it doesn't stay in. So unfortunately, the Infiniti QX60 fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get a center console with a 12-volt outlet and the seats. The seats are heated, ventilated, power memory, and massaging. While Infiniti and Nissan's massage feature isn't the most abrasive or most, I want to say most bestest, it's not the best massage I've ever felt in the world, but it has massage seats. So I will take what I can get, and they have been pretty enjoyable. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the second row of the QX60 from 2026, and a couple of things to note. This is the autograph trim level, so we do have the center console with its own cup holders. We have our own climate controls back here, as well as 2 USB-Cs and a wall outlet. Heated seats, definitely very nice to see in the second row. However, if you really want the most luxurious second row you can find, the QX80, the larger Armada equivalent, actually has second row massage seats in its autograph trim level. So if that's something that's important to you, you can seek that out for a much bigger price tag. This is honestly pretty good. Headroom is good. If I squat down a little bit, I fit a little bit better, obviously. 5'11", not a small guy. I can fit. My knees are not hitting the seat in front of me. And we do have an adjustment, so I can come all the way up or bring it decently far back, but not the farthest back ever. So you can be nicer to the third row and move up. However, that big question mark is going to be the third row. So let's see how to get back there, because I actually haven't done it yet. All right, so there's a button here. Oh, okay, and it flips it pretty far forward. As a bigger guy, I would always want more, but it's enough for me to get back here. And with the seat moved up pretty healthily, I can fit back here relatively well. The QX80 is going to offer a lot better backseat space, a lot better third row space. This is sort of, if you need them, third row. If you have a huge family, get something bigger. Honestly, I would probably step down in badge, but up in size and go to the Nissan Armada if you do need a third row and want a little bit closer to this price tag. But we do have a single USB-C on the passenger side. It looks like we have a cutout for one over here, but we don't actually get it. We have cup holders and whatnot. I do get a light over my shoulder, which is pretty nice, but obviously not a deal breaker or seller here for the QX60. Let's hop into the very back. Let's see how much cargo space is left after this third row is up, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the QX60, press and hold here on the key fob, and it does, of course, have a power-operated tailgate. Once we are around the back, we do have a little bit of storage space before the third row of seats. So even with the third row up, you still get a little bit of room. This was plenty for all my luggage and my camera equipment up to Detroit. So I would say it's a pretty workable amount. You're gonna be able to fit some groceries back here. In order to put the third row down, gotta pop those down, and then pull there and pull there. So they are manual down. However, you can come over here and they are power back up. So they are only power up, not power down, which is the preferred way. It's gonna save your back quite a bit without being as mechanically complex. So very, very nice. We can put them right back down like this, and they do give you the straps if you want to manually pull them back up. Grab these, pull, and honestly, it's not too bad on its own, but you can use the power function. Around here, we do have a 12-volt outlet as well. Very nice to see that, and then we can pull this up, and we do get some pretty good storage down underneath the bottom as well. So we can bring these back up to finish out the video, or at least this segment of the video. Pretty quick, pretty timely, like that quite a bit. There we go. That's around the back of the QX60. Button up here to either lock it or close it. We'll just close it here today. There you go. That is what the cargo space is like in the QX60 Autograph. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I actually really like the look of the QX60. Not only do I think it looks handsome, but this green color is absolutely lovely. I think it's kind of stunning, and I would expect a more premium paint out of Infiniti, so I'm happy to see that here. This definitely feels better and nicer than a Nissan's paint, so I like that quite a bit. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the QX60 for the last week? Well, as I mentioned, I'm pretty happily impressed with the QX60. I thought it was going to kind of be a letdown, and honestly, that variable compression turbo engine is at a stop-start, but cruising on the highway, driving it around town, I never felt like I needed more power or that it was lacking in any certain way. So as long as you're not taking this to Great Lakes Dragway every week, I think you'll be okay. Now, reliability is going to be a big question mark for those variable compression engines. There's just a lot more that can go wrong. So that is something to take into account. Maybe I would lease one of these as opposed to owning. Otherwise, I really like the QX60. It was very comfortable on the highway. It soaked up the miles between Chicago and Detroit so seamlessly. Again, I don't know if I would own it and pony up the fixing costs for that engine down the road. But for a lease, man, I would lease this every day of the week. And so I bring up the Lexus RX 500 that we reviewed not too long ago. That was a nearly similar price tag. I think it was a couple $100 more expensive or a couple $100 cheaper. I don't quite remember. But this has 3 rows as opposed to 2. This is a nicer place to be overall. I think this is prettier. And so, I don't know, I think I'd lean this way if I wanted a larger vehicle. It is also interesting that Infiniti, as of right now, only makes 2 cars, the QX80 and the QX60. They only make 3-row SUVs. Now, they're planning to bring back a sedan, but as of now, they only make 3 rows, and now we've reviewed both of them. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Infiniti for letting me borrow their QX60 for the last week. Huge thank you to G. Schmitz for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle, and of course the Midwest Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.